Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the organizers for organizing this beautiful webinar in which a large number of participants are participating enthusiastically, and we are extremely happy that the President Maharaj of Ramakrishna Math and Mission, Swami Smaranandaji Maharaj, gave his blessings for the seminar, which is a great, great thing. It is a very rare thing that President Maharaj's blessings are received for such a type of webinar. In fact, we are organizing many webinars, but we could not approach President Maharaj because he's not keeping that good health. So we were hesitating. But congratulations to all, to you, the organizers, who took this courage and got the blessing from him. Wonderful. And I'm so very happy that Garishtananji is taking a very leading part, and the teachers from the institution, that very huge, wonderful complex of Ramakrishna Mission at Coimbatore. On all the teachers from that institution, Swami Garishtanand are taking part in this great webinar. And Hitkamananji, he very nicely told, we must now not only man-making education, but mother-making education. Beautifully he has said. And the role of parents, very important, he has brought out. So we are so happy. And my topic is teacher as a torch-bearer of change. I personally feel, and I'm convinced, that the best profession, the greatest profession, and the noblest profession in the whole world is that of a teacher. Nobody is greater than teacher. And the question was asked to Dr. Kalam, why? He gave the very simple answer. Dr. Kalam said, he has written in his book, India 2020, A Vision of the New Millennium, where he says, if you are a teacher, in whatever capacity you are, you may be primary school teacher, you may be secondary school teacher, you may be college education teacher, doesn't matter. If you are a teacher, in whatever capacity you are, you have a very, very important role to play in making India a developed country by 2020. Why? Why? Because more than anybody else, it is you who are shaping the future generations. This is a teacher has got a multiplier effect. Minimum 1,000 persons come in intimate contact with any teacher. And a teacher can make or unmake the character of those 1,000 persons. Can make them great, can make them great patriots, can make them great terrorists. Everything is their hand. 1,000, it's a multiplier effect, mind you. Minimum 1,000 students are coming in intimate contact with teachers. Of course, it's coming in contact with thousands during a period of the 30, 40 years of teaching life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying influencing. A teacher can influence by his own character, by his own life, not by only teaching. This is the greatest power, is that with the teacher. The whole world depends not on the type of politicians that we have, not on the type of IAS and IPS officers we have, not on the amount of money that we have got at our disposal in our world, in the treasury, in the banks. Everything depends upon what are the types of teacher. I'm very happy that in the new education policy, they have taken special interest. How far it will be implemented, I do not know, but at least they have given, they have taken to our suggestion of giving importance to the quality of teachers. Because everything depends upon the quality of teachers. If the teachers are great, the nation is great. Teachers got a multiplier effect. Teacher are the really, they are the role models for the student. For a student, for first 5 years, role model is mother. For the next 5 years, role model is father. But after that, till the age of 15 years, role model is teacher. Of course, after that, the film hero becomes the teacher and all become, after 15 you are lost. You are gone. You can't do anything with that child. 15 years gone. Whatever you have to do, change a character of any person, if you want to change, before 15 years. And there, so that is why the primary school teacher plays much more important part. Afterwards, also is possible, but it is much easier to mold a soft clay. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna said. And it is the soft clay which can be molded easily. So similarly, it is in the young age, in the childhood, and it is at this stage that the parents also play an important part, and also this one, the teachers. On 16 April 2003, I was at Rashtrapati Bhavan talking to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. In fact, I had asked for an appointment for handing over a video that we had prepared based on the lecture that he had delivered at Porbandar on 13th February 2002. At that time, he was not the president of India. When he had come to Porbandar, first time when he came to Porbandar, I was at the time in charge of Porbandar Center. There in Porbandar, there is Bhojeshwar Bungalow, the historic bungalow, where Swami Vivekananda himself stayed as the guest of the then administrator Shankar Pandurang Pandit for more than 4 months. And so we requested the government of Gujarat to hand over that bungalow, and then we received that on 12 January 97 on the Swami Vivekananda birthday. So since that, we had started a memorial. Now, as you might be aware, that on 26 January 2001, there was a big earthquake, very devastating earthquake, and that is why, as is the tradition of Ramakrishna Mission, immediately from within 5 minutes of the earthquake, our relief work started. And we collected donations, about 20 crores rupees, and we carried out primarily for 3 crores of rupees, say 17 crores rupees. We constructed 81 school buildings, government school buildings, which were damaged because of the earthquake, and handed over back to the government. Out of these 81 school buildings, 37 buildings were constructed in Porbandar district. And Dr. Kalam had come to inaugurate one of these 37 school buildings in Porbandar. That was on 13 February 2002. It's a very interesting what all happened, but I will not go into the details there. It comes to the main point that, so we had prepared a CD, and at that time, he was not the president of India. But in my vote of thanks, I had told that he's not only Bharat Ratna, he is a Vishwa. At that time, he was a Bharat Ratna. I said he is not a Bharat Ratna, he is a Vishwa Ratna. He's going to become very great very soon. And within 4 months, he became the president of India, Rashtrapati. And nobody had ever imagined, he himself did not imagine that he will become the president at that time. So anyway, but when we heard that he has become the president, so naturally I thought, we were very friendly earlier. So I thought that now I should not disturb that he has become Rashtrapati. But when I had gone to Delhi for some other work, so I thought, why not hand over that video that we have prepared? And just asked for 5 minutes. He gave 15 minutes. And then the meeting went on for half an hour, I think. He got so much interested. So because we met on 16th April 2003, I handed over that video, and I told that the students were extremely happy. There were 3,000 youths, and they were very happy to listen to you. And now we want you to come once again as the Rashtrapati. And in fact, at that time also we were told that you have to come again. But now as Rashtrapati, again we requested. And then I also told, then we were talking, there were so many things that we're talking about. I said, Dr. Kalam, you want to make India a developed country by 2020. That's a great thing. You know, we also are trying our best to make India great in the type of blueprint that is given by Swami Vivekananda. And we also have educational institutions, and we are trying to make India great in our own way. Because Swami Vivekananda said, because India has got a great role to play in the whole world. And if the world has to be saved, India has to be saved. And India can only give this spiritual culture which can save the whole world from self-destruction. That is why Swami Vivekananda wanted India to come up. In fact, he told in Madras that India will wake up again, and India shall conquer the whole world by its spiritual culture and save the whole world by its spiritual culture. And so we are making our own efforts of making India great. But I told him, but I tell you, you are making all these 5-year plans and this and that and trying to bring money from World Bank and all that. I said, whatever you do, even if you bring the wealth of the World Bank, I can tell you, GDP will grow. That may grow, but the poverty of the people will not go. Poverty of the people will not go. Poor people will remain poor. Even if you bring the whole world of the wealth of the World Bank and pump that money into the 5-year plans. Why, Swamiji? Why? He was very much excited. I said, for the simple reason, the former Prime Minister of India said, I didn't give the name, everybody knows, that if you put 1 rupee to the 5-year plan, only 15 paisa comes to the grassroots level farmer. I said, I am afraid even 5 paisa is coming on nowadays. That time it was a rampant corruption going on. I'm talking about 2003. Rampant corruption in the country today. So any amount of, you may increase GDP, but the poverty of the people is not going to go with any amount of money and any amount of 5-year plans that you have made. Then he became very much worried. What is the solution, Swamiji? What is the solution? I said, only one solution. Only one solution. What is the solution? We should do it now, what we should have done on 15th August 1947. Better late than never. What is that? Swami Vivekananda said, education alone is the panacea of all our evils. But what type of education? Not the type of education that we are giving in the educational institutions at present. No. What is the type of education? What Swami Vivekananda wanted was man-making education, character-building education. And I said, what we are giving is demon-making education, Rakshasa-making education, selfish giants. That is what we are producing. So then I told, we have our own educational institutions in Coimbatore, in other parts, in Calcutta, in Devghar, in Arunachal Pradesh, formal educational institutions where we are trying to impart along with the education these ideas of man-making education. Apart from that, we have some special institutions also specializing in imparting value education like Ramakrishna Institute of Moral and Spiritual Education, Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence at Hyderabad and all that. And they said, now we want to start Vivekananda Institute of Value Education and Culture at Porbandar. And we now want that you should inaugurate it. Dr. Kalam said, yes, surely I will come. Let us work together, Swamiji. Let us work together for this character building education. He was very much excited, very enthusiastic. He said, surely, Swamiji, I will come. And then he did come. On 12th January 2006, on Swami Vivekananda's birthday, it was a National Youth Day, as you know, he came, inaugurated Vivekananda Institute of Value Education and Culture and addressed 5,000 youths. Wonderful. Wonderful speech. He said, today is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, who was not only a great personality of India, but of the whole globe. That's what he said. And then he narrated how Swami Vivekananda inspired Jamshedji Tata to start Indian Institute of Science while they were traveling, both of them traveling together from Japan to Chicago on the same steamer. All these things he told. And then he talked to the youth. And then there was question answer session. So during the question answer session, one student stood up and said, sir, Operation Duryodhan, Operation Chakravyuh, and other operations have revealed the tip of the iceberg, that is rampant corruption in the country today. As the President of India, how do you feel about it? And where do you think lies the solution? Then Dr. Kalam stood up and said, you see, the parliament has already taken some action on those MPs. And then he took up a book of Swami Vivekananda and started reading one sentence from the book of Swami Vivekananda, where Swami Vivekananda says, no number of parliament acts can make a nation great and can make a nation good. Then what can make a nation good? And what can make a nation great? What can make a nation good? Then again he read out from the book of Swami Vivekananda, where Swami Vivekananda says, only a large number of good enlightened citizens, good enlightened people can make a nation good and can make a nation great. And then he said, and Dr. Kalam, the president, Rashtrapati is telling like that. Do you know, in the open forum, you can listen to that video available in our YouTube on Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda Memorial, Porbandar, and also in our Vadodara and Rajkot centers we have put in the YouTube. You can see Dr. Kalam speaking, in spite of being Rashtrapati. What does he say? And the government cannot produce good people, and the government will not produce good people. That also he told. Then who will produce good people? He said only 3 persons can produce good people. And who are they? Father, mother, and the teacher. Nobody else can do it. What a wonderful thing. Only father, mother, and the teacher can produce good people by the right type of education, by imparting samskaras. After all, what is it? What is education? What we want, character building education. What is character? Character is nothing but aggregate of samskaras. What are the samskaras? Samskaras are aggregate of impressions, aggregate of samskaras, aggregate impressions. You sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character. This is all. It starts thinking. Sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character. So this character starts with positive thinking, but thinking is not enough. Then repeated action, repeated habits, action will result into habits, habits will result into this one. So these characters, these samskaras, they are the subterm of this character. Now this how these samskaras are built? 4 basic parameters. Samskaras come from 4 sources. Number 1, from the previous births over which we do not have control. Second, coming from parents either genetically or through behavior pattern. Just now you heard, even before the child is born, the mother can provide education to the child. This is our Indian concept. Western concept is the education starts from day 1. But Indian concept is education starts from -9 months when the child is in the womb. So the mother, so the first samskara coming from one source is from past birth. Second, samskaras coming from the parents either genetically or through behavior pattern. Third, samskaras derived from atmosphere, from the environment. The type of society in which a person is living is very important. The type of the program that a person is watching on TV, on social media is very important. This is all environment. The environment in which he is living or he has made for himself. Not only the type of city that he is living, but the type of environment, the type of friendship that he keeps. Satsang or dusang, everything will have its effect. And the 4th most important effect, which gives the rise to good samskaras, is teachers. Teachers, most important factor for imparting samskara and having a paradigm shift in the character is a teacher. So that is why teachers only can make changes. If at all we have to bring changes, the most important thing is teacher. The most important factor is a teacher. Teacher can only play the most important part in bringing about the change in a nation, in the nation or in the world. So teacher is a torch bearer of change. And that is why Swami Vivekananda gave so much importance. When we are talking about man-making education, how this can be brought about, a beautiful demonstration. Swami Vivekananda wanted that the nation cannot develop without the development of the women, and women development cannot take place without women education. At that time, only hardly 1% women were literate. So Swami Vivekananda thought, first thing is educating women. So as soon as he returned from America, he did two works. He carried out two important jobs. Number one, established Ramakrishna Mission for serving the people irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, nationality on 1st May 1897. Second, he started a school for the girls in Calcutta, which was the capital of British India at that time. And now who will look after the school? So he could not get any person from India. So he gave a clarion call to his disciple, who was a teacher in England at the time. That is Miss Margaret Noble. He wrote a very, very inspiring letter. The world is burning with misery. Awake, awake, great ones. The world is burning with misery. Can you sleep? Let us call and call till the sleeping gods awake. The Buddhas by the hundreds are necessary with eternal love and pity. Are you ready? Then you come and give up your whole life for educating Indian women. For India, I need you. And Miss Margaret Noble took the ship, came to India, sacrificed her whole life for educating Indian women and for the independence of India. In spite of being British, she fought with the British and encouraged all the revolutionaries and all that. That's a separate chapter in itself. But she came, and that is why when Swami Vivekananda gave her Brahmacharya Diksha, he gave her the name Nivedita, the dedicated one, who dedicated her whole life for that. Read the life of Sister Nivedita. What a wonderful teacher. How an ordinary teacher can bring about a revolution in the whole country and the world. Is an example. She was an ordinary teacher. She was not having any power or position. She started with very simple, and Swami Vivekananda said, first before you become a teacher, you must become an ideal Indian woman. So he gave her very rigorous training, and she had to become an ideal Indian woman first. And then she started the school, and what type of dedication for teaching, for the girls, how much she was, for each and every student, she had kept another diary, and she is writing in diary that Vidyut Bala is now improving her confidence level, but her English is weak. I must now work hard to get her English improved. Likewise, for every student, she has got a separate diary, and she is working hard on that. Wonderful teacher and a great revolutionary, and helping Sri Aurobindo and other revolutionaries and in trying to get the independence for India. Wonderful. You go through the life. That will tell you what a teacher cannot do. Ordinary teacher. You are all thinking the teachers, oh, we are teachers. What are we? What they are thinking. No, a teacher can bring about a revolution. Look at the life of Nivedita. Look at the life of Master Mahasaya, Mayanath Gupta. Mayanath Gupta M was an ordinary teacher. And he just incidentally came in touch with Sri Ramakrishna. In fact, he had started from his house for committing suicide. But somehow in the night, on the way, the horse carriage, the wheel went up. And so he had to take shelter in the area of this, which is near Dakshineshwar. Somewhere he was staying at night, and next day morning he came to Dakshineshwar incidentally, and he came to see the garden, and he didn't know anything about Sri Ramakrishna, and he had no faith for bowing down before Mother Kali. He came for the garden that was there by the side of the Ganges, and then suddenly he came in touch with Sri Ramakrishna, and he got so much peace of mind that his life was transformed. He went on coming to Sri Ramakrishna, and wrote down all the conversations that Sri Ramakrishna had in his diary. And Swami Vivekananda once saw that diary. He said, "Brother, Master Mahasaya, these are wonderful nuggets here. What a wonderful thing they have done. You must publish it." He said, "No, no, this is my private diary." But then, at the instance of Swami Vivekananda, this diary was published. The name of the book was Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. And later on, it was translated into various languages: Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Urdu, Gujarati, Marathi. Then in English, it was translated, and the name given was The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Then it was translated into French, German, Greek, Russian, Dutch, Spanish. So many languages of the world. Thousands of copies have been sold. Thousands, millions of people are getting peace of mind by reading that gospel. So many people do not go to bed without reading a page from the book. Just imagine an ordinary teacher bringing about spiritual revolution in the world. That is Mahendra Gupta M. What a teacher cannot do. And that is why a teacher, first of all, must have that dignity in that. That is the first thing. I am a teacher. So they say, Swamiji, we don't want to listen to lecture. We are interested in only giving lecture. And we are not habituated to listen to a big lecture. So you give us some mantra, and that is enough. I said, okay, I'll give you mantra, but you have to repeat 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the night. Okay. And then if you repeat that mantra, you will get success. You don't have to do anything else. Oh, that is wonderful. So you give the mantra. I said, but you must give me the promise that 10 times morning will repeat and 10 times at night will repeat. And I assure you, promise you, if you repeat this mantra, and you will get success. Okay, you now tell the mantra. Tell immediately mantra. What is the success mantra for teachers? I said that this is the mantra is like this. What is the mantra? Mantra is this: I am a teacher. Oh, is it a mantra? We thought there was some Sanskrit mantra. I said, now I tell you, if you repeat this mantra 1,000 times, nothing is going to happen, because the strength comes not from the mantra, how you repeat it. I am a teacher, within bracket, how miserable I am. What a monotonous job, and how much work I have to do. It is less salary, more work. What is this? I am so unfortunate. I have become a teacher. Why I did become a teacher? I am a teacher, within bracket, how miserable I am. If you repeat like that, it is going to do harm rather than good. But I am a teacher. I can bring out revolution in the whole world. I am a teacher. No, I am not a teacher. I am a national builder. I am a torch bearer of change. I only can change the whole world. I have got that tremendous power. If you got that dignity, and if you repeat with that 10 times morning and 10 times at night, within 1 month, you get power. I am a teacher, how great I am. I am a teacher, how great I am. And once you repeat that, you get so much of power, all the problems will come. It will continue to come. I know what are the problems a teacher faces, but these problems then will become very small compared to the power that you are getting. You will be able to get the power of overcoming that. The type of problem that you are facing will become completely nullified once you have that dignity. So I'll quickly give you the success formula. Mantra I have already given. 10 times morning you have to repeat. I am a teacher, within bracket, how great I am and how responsible I am. With again night, 10 times, teacher, I am a teacher, within bracket, how great I am and how responsible I am. Now, a formula, success formula for becoming great teacher. What is the success formula? Very easy to remember. S is equal to 3D plus 3C plus 3Q plus 3P plus 3L. Very simple formula. What is the 3D? D1, dignity of profession. I am a teacher, within bracket, how great I am. And when the dignity comes, D2 will come, that is dedication. Automatically will come. You will be, once you know I am a great thing, now on me depends the whole world, on me depends the national development, on me depends the future of the world and the future of the country and future of everybody. Oh my God, so much I have got responsibility, dedication will automatically come. When dedication will come, automatically state award, national award, everything will follow. But you will not get God realization. You will not get infinite happiness, infinite bliss, infinite knowledge. No. Satchidanand. No, you will not get that. For that, you have to convert work into worship. When you say, I am teaching, okay, dedication is there, very nice. But if you convert work into worship, no, I am not teaching. I am worshipping God who is coming in the form of the student. I am worshipping Vidyarthi Narayana. Swami Vivekananda gave the mantra. He said, you have listened to the mantras. What are the mantras? Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. I am giving you some additional mantras which are more needed in the present age. What are those mantras? Daridra Devo Bhava, Rogi Devo Bhava, Vidyarthi Devo Bhava. We have to worship the God who is the students. If we take it as a worship of God in man, God in students, and if you take it as a worship, work becomes worship, then what you get? You get salary, you get TADA, you get leave, everything, plus God, plus infinite existence, plus infinite happiness, plus infinite bliss, plus eternal life. Satchit Ananda. You get extra benefit if you cannot work into worship. You don't have to do anything extra. Not a single minute of extra work you have to do. Whatever work you are doing, take it as worship. I am worshipping Vidyarthi Narayana. Then what happens? The school becomes temple. It becomes Mandira. At present, we are giving the name Mandira, Vidyarthi Mandira, but it is not looking like Mandira. But once Vidyarthi Narayana worship is being done, then really the school will become Vidyarthi Mandira. It will become a temple where Vidyarthis are being worshipped by the teachers. So D1, D3. D3 will give you God realization. D3 will give you nirvana. They will give you infinite happiness and bliss. So D1, D2, D3. C1, C2, C3. C1, concentration of mind. Swami Vivekananda said, if I had to do my education over again, I will not undergo the present system of education. First, I will learn how to concentrate my mind, how to control my mind. Information I can have at my own will. Information. Education is not the amount of information that goes into brain and runs and digests all your life. Education is becoming. And he said, concentration is the sense of education. He had such a tremendous power of concentration. Yet he wanted more concentration. So concentration of mind. Second, communication. Communication between the teacher and the student. There are so many types of communication technologies that we can develop. New technologies coming forward. We have to know about them. And also the communication between teacher and the teacher, between teacher and the principal, between teacher and the parents. All these relationships are very important. Communication is important. So communication, C2. And C3, confidence. And confidence, how the confidence will develop when you follow the seventh law, seventh habit of highly effective people. There's a book by, 7 habits of highly effective people. So 7 habits of highly effective people, there he is told, the 7th habit is sharpening the saw. What is that? Sharpening the saw. At present, a woodcutter was just cutting the wood and he became exhausted and the axe had already lost its edge. And somebody said, why don't you just take a little rest and sharpen the saw and start cutting again? Then he replied, he gave the same reply that we give. What is the reply he gave? Yes, what you have said is very true, but where is the time? When we tell the teachers, please read some books, where is the time? So, my God, you foolish person, when you sharpen the saw, you will be able to cut. You see, so much wood is there. I have to cut. Where's the time? My God, if you sharpen your saw, you will be able to cut more wood. But this common sense is not there. Similarly, the teachers say, we don't have time. Where is the time to read books? If you read books, you will sharpen your saw, you will be able to complete your homework much better. So, sharpening the saw is very important. Then confidence level will come. So C1, C2, C3, then Q1, Q2, Q3, IQ, EQ, SQ. Intelligence quotient, EQ, emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. Daniel Goleman made a research in 1991 and said EQ is more important than IQ. And then SQ, the latest discovery of the modern science, SQ, spiritual intelligence. Dana Zohar, she is a professor in Oxford University. She has written a book. The name of the book is SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, where she says neurologically, physiologically, psychologically, biologically, from every point of view, there is concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. What is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? Why are we here on this earth? What we want to achieve before we die? That is SQ, spiritual intelligence. And Dana Zohar says, unfortunately, we are living in a society, it is a dumb society where we've forgotten about SQ. So, SQ is most important. IQ, EQ, SQ. And how to develop SQ? Swami Vivekananda has given a beautiful formula. The gist of the whole of Vedanta has been given in his book on Raj Yoga. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines, dogmas, rituals, worships, temples, churches, mosques are but secondary details. So now we have come to the last point of the formula. Just one sentence from Swami Vivekananda you have to remember. What is the sentence? Purity, passions, and perseverance. These are the three essentials to success, and above all, love. Purity, passions, and perseverance. These are the three essentials to success, and above all, love. Love towards the students. Teachers must have love towards the students, love towards the learning, and love towards the profession of teaching. If these three types of love will come, and these three type of P, that is purity, patience, and perseverance, and the three type of Q, IQ, EQ, SQ, and three types of C, C1, C2, C3, concentration, communication, and confidence, and three types of D, dignity of profession, dedication, and devotion. Once we have all these three, so S success is equal to 3D plus 3C plus 3Q plus 3P plus 3L. Remember this formula, try to practice it, and I'm very much sure you are all going to become, you are already great teachers, you will become greater teachers and fulfill the dream of Swami Vivekananda of making India a developed country, not only a developed country, a nation which will be much more glorious. She will be more glorious. Our India will be so glorious. It is more glorious than she ever was. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. He was a prophet. He was a prophet. And he has made a prophecy. He was not an astrologer. Whatever is told has come true. And this also has to come true. That is, India will become so great that its past glory will fade into insignificance. That is what his Swami Vivekananda says. And if you want to reach to that stage, then we have to have national development. National development cannot take place without character building of the citizens. And character building of the citizens cannot take place without the character building of teachers themselves. Because be and make. Swami Vivekananda said, the golden formula, first you become great, then make others great. Without that, you cannot do. First be, then make. First you become great, then make others great. So this is a great formula that Swami Vivekananda has told of national building, and through national building, the whole world will be saved, because even India will be saved, and with the spiritual culture will be saved. So I'm very happy to have talked to you, and I'm once again thanking the organizers for giving me this opportunity. And I pray to Lord Ganesha, who is the Lord, today's Ganesh Chaturthi. So Lord Ganesha, I pray, he is the God of success. May he grant us strength. May he give us blessing so that we get success in our endeavor of making India a great country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikhil Swamiji. Very effective and very motivation speech. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Nikhil Swamiji.
Thank you, Maharaji, and Pranam. Now we are opening the session. Somebody would like to ask some question. So first of all, for Hitakaman Maharaj, please raise your hand and give the chance to ask directly. Anybody would like to ask question on this education seminar on the subject, so that we can talk to each other. Anybody would like to? Dr. Gaurav. unmute yourself and ask the question.
Pranam sir. Pranam sir. And happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. Sir, how to be an effective teacher? What are the characteristics that we have to inculcate in ourselves to be an effective teacher?
You ask the question to whom?
Sir, I'm asking to you, sir, please, sir.
Okay. I thought that perhaps the Hitkamananji has to answer the question. Is that so?
Yes,
Should I reply?
I can start and you can finish, Swamiji.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
so this question, should I reply?
Yes, Swamiji, I am starting and you can finish.
Okay, you please start.
The question is simple. It is time-taking job. Only Nikhil Shanji has already explained what are the qualities a teacher needs. But the most important quality for becoming an excellent teacher is he should have a learner's mindset all through. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Jabad Vachi Tabad Shiki. As long as I live, so long do I learn. So a teacher who has a learner's mindset, he learns from people who are having higher knowledge in the same field, students who have better behavior pattern, better characteristic qualities, learn from colleagues. A teacher who is ready to learn from everybody and looks himself as a student that I am an evergreen learner. Remember the phrase, a teacher has to be an evergreen learner. Then he can develop himself to an almost unlimited level of success and efficiency. And if you are sincere and work hard, the sky is the limit. Now, Nikhil Shanji may add to it.
Okay, what he has told is very true. Learning, a teacher has to be a continuous learner, and that is exactly what I told. That if you go with the knowledge which is not updated, then you will not be able to control the students, because students are having latest knowledge from the media. Okay. And because they are having latest knowledge on the topic, there's a lot of information coming from media, and he has got the latest knowledge. And when you are delivering to them the 10 years, 15 years back knowledge, naturally they are not going to follow you. So, or they are not going to respect you. So if you want respectability, you have to sharpen your saw. That is why I told the 7th habit, that is Stephen Covey's book, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The 7th habit is very important, sharpening the saw. That is, every day you must give some time for sharpening the saw, that is refreshing your knowledge and have more and more learning and continue to learning. It's a continuous process, as Hitkamananji pointed out, which was Sri Ramakrishna's main thrust, that Yavad Bachi Tavat Sikhi. And also I told the formula was, that is S is equal to 3D plus 3C plus 3Q plus 3D plus 3P plus 3L. What is the 3L? One is the love towards learning, love towards the student, and love towards the profession. So love towards the learning also has to be there. So that is the point that he has stressed. Love towards the learning should be there. There should be a continuous learning by the teachers, and also this sharpening the saw. And what is more important, as I told, is for the teacher is character building. One thing is that on the topic, even if you are a physics teacher, chemistry teacher, whatever teacher you are, in your own topic, you should be master. Because you are a master, master name is given not because a master is given, because really you are a master of that. You have to be really master. So whether you are given master, that is a title or not, you have to really master your topic, master your subject. How? By sharpening the saw. That is number one. Number two, as I told you, automatically the students have got this habit. Whatever you say, whatever you do has got its effect. whatever you say hasn't got the effect. They are like monkeys. If you tell the monkeys, take out the caps, they will not take out. If you take out the cap, they will take out the cap. So similarly, if the teacher says, don't tell a lie, they will say, okay, I will also tell others, don't tell a lie. That's all. But if the teacher says, I will not tell a lie, then the student will say, I will also not tell a lie. So similarly, so this character building will come through only demonstration. So that is why Swami Vivekananda, this equation, that is, first you become great, make others great. You first develop your character, then make others develop character. You develop your own personality, then develop others' personality. And that personality should be a total personality. It should not be only one-sided personality. What is total personality? Physical development of the personality, mental development of the personality, intellectual development of the personality, moral development of the personality, and spiritual development of the personality. That is total personality development. This total personality development, this is what we want to bring about in the student. How it will be brought about? Unless the teachers have got this total personality development. That is why teacher, very important part. So I am telling now, one point of view has been given, Itkamananji, that I completely agree with that. That is learning, continuous learning should be there. Second point I am telling is that if we want man-making, character-building education in the students, that cannot come till the teachers who are giving the education are not having that character. So second most important thing is character. I will just give you a joke. It's just a joke. Don't take it amiss. Take it as a joke. Forget about it. Don't take it badly. So some students were just enjoying themselves. And one teacher was going, hey, what are you doing? We are playing a game. What is the game? Whosoever tells the biggest lie, he gets the prize. What? You are playing such a dangerous game? Telling a lie? No. You should never tell a lie. And they never play like this. You saw in the whole of my life, I have never told a lie. And the students, sir, you get the first prize. You got the first prize. Because there can never be a greater lie than this. Because the other day we thought, we saw ourselves, you took this medical leave and medical leave on wrong reasons when you were not sick and you gave the medical reason. We know very well, the students know. And you are telling that I never told a lie in my whole life, only yesterday you told. So this will not have effect. So that is why the teachers have to be very careful in their own personality, in having their total personality development, in their character development, which will not come in a day. It is a long life process. It's a lifelong process. And also a lot of stumbling blocks will be there. But we don't have to be afraid. We should not care about all the difficulties and go ahead, march ahead. This is what I would like to humbly add.
I would like to request Sunny Tendon. Sunny Tendon, sir. He is a very active participant in previous sessions also. Sunny Tendon, sir, would you like to ask? Sunny Tendon. Himanshu Parekh, raise your hand. Unmute yourself and ask the question. Himanshu Parekh. Tendon, ask your question.
Yes, Baniji, may I ask? And Himanshu.
Yeah, ask.
Okay. So, good evening to everyone. Baniji, first of all, congratulations for organizing such a wonderful webinar. My question is to Swamiji. Sir, you gave the formula in which you just wrote 3D. One of them was the dignity. The reality is that certain non-academic duties assigned to the teachers makes the dignity lower. For example, in a part of protocol, in the rally of certain minister, some of the teachers are being sent. they are given many other work other than academics, which directly affect their dignity. Then what to do under such circumstances? Please guide.
Very nice, very nice
Okay.
question.
Maharaj, we are taking some question from other also. So it will be managing all the things will be better. Sunny Tendon.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Ask.
Firstly, pranam to Swamiji and happy Ganesh Chaut to all of you. Sir, my question is this. It's my personal problem. Actually, I want to learn more and more. I'm quite curious to learn. But sometimes when I see the situation like nepotism, favoritism, and all these in the system, I got deviated from my path. So Swamiji, what to do when I got such negative thinking in my mind?
Yeah.
You will come. We are request to Prakash Pal. Ask your question. Prakash Pal. Are you here? Prakash Pal. Sudha. Madam. Thakurraj Singh. Thakurraj Singh. Unmute yourself and ask the question to Maharaj ji. To me or yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening. I am Mrs. Sadhna Hullalkar from Baramati.
Yeah, ask your question.
Sir, actually this is a wonderful session. I just want to ask one question. As sir has told that spiritual quotient is important. So what can be done to develop the spiritual quotient as a teacher?
Very good. So there are 3 questions. Should I reply all the 3 questions?
Yeah.
Okay, we start with the third question. Hitkamana ji also has to answer now. Which answer?
Not yet. You can go ahead, Swamiji.
Huh?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So third question I start with how to develop SQ. The spiritual intelligence, spiritual intelligence, that is a very comprehensive term. And once that comes, then IQ and EQ becomes very easy. Now the question that was asked is how to develop this SQ. So what is this SQ all about? First of all, let us think. SQ is about the basic purpose of life. Is basically the purpose of life. That is what is included in that SQ. Development of SQ is related to our main aim of life, the purpose of life, the basic purpose of life. This is what is most important, because once that is clear, then all the other problems become very, very, very small, very insignificant. You see, when you are flying, all the traffic jam is not there at all. And the big buildings also become very small. So similarly, all the problems that will become very small once we are going for development of SQ. And this SQ is related to basically our whole life's purpose. And life purpose, this life purpose SQ, they have already scientifically discovered this SQ. Scientifically discovered. And that is the SQ is neurologically, biologically, physiologically, psychologically. From all the 4 points of view, they have got the concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is basis of both IQ and EQ. Now the question is how to develop this SQ. How to develop this SQ, because once SQ is developed, IQ, EQ will follow. So that is why I already told you the formula. Once again, I will repeat. This spiritual intelligence will come by combination of 4 yogas. You have to practice 4 yogas. What are the 4 yogas? Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and Karma Yoga. If you practice these 4 yogas in daily life, gradually you will find this SQ being developed. And Dana Zohar gives a beautiful example also. By the side of the Mexican coast, there was a fisherman. By the side, there was a management consultant who was sitting there, and at a little distance was a fisherman sleeping in his boat. And then the management consulted, hey, what are you doing? Why you are not fishing this afternoon? And then that fisherman said, sir, you know, in the morning I had a very big catch. I sold that fish and I got a lot of money. And that has solved my problem for today. And I got 2 days, my quota is over. And so I am relaxing. I'm sleeping. What? Is there any quota system here? You should go and more fishing. You should bring more fishes. And there's still, it is only afternoon and you'll get more money. But what will I do with extra money? I have got enough money for today. Why? You should deposit. You never heard the word deposit. Yes, open a bank account and deposit. And go on depositing. Then when you have got enough, then you purchase another boat. Then you get much more fishes. Then you will get more money. What do I have with the extra money? Again, you'll deposit. Likewise, you go on depositing and go on purchasing all the boats and you will become CEO of a multinational company. Then you move your headquarters from Mexico to New York and then go all over the world, open branches and all that. Then naturally when you open branches, you'll have to move a lot, you'll have to fly, and then naturally there'll be blood pressure, there'll be bypass surgery. When there are 3 bypass surgeries and doctor says no more, then you sell all the companies and come back to me. I am an investment expert from Harvard. I will tell you where to invest the money. When you invest money like this, then you will get every month fixed income and you will be able to sleep nicely without any tranquilizer. Then the fisherman said, well, sir, I was sleeping nicely only. Why this roundabout process? And then Dana Zohar says, this fisherman has got low IQ, doesn't know how to make money. But this management expert has got high IQ. He knows how to make money. But this fisherman has got high SQ. He knows the purpose of life is to have happiness and peace. But this management expert doesn't know. He has got low SQ. He doesn't know the purpose of life. So the purpose of life is more important. Purpose of life is to have eternal happiness, eternal life. Every day we must have happiness and peace, and leading to eternal happiness, eternal peace. And that will come by the development of SQ. How that will be developed? That is your question. That will come by combination, by practicing these 4 yogas. Raj Yoga is meditation, Bhakti Yoga is prayer, Gyan Yoga is spiritual reading and reflection over it, and Karma Yoga, that is unselfish service. I have put it very simply. I have just given a nutshell. I have not gone into the details of these 4 yogas. All the 4 yogas, Swami Vivekananda has written a beautiful book that you can read later on. But this is just a little bit of meditation every day, that is Raj Yoga. Little bit of meditation, little bit of prayer every morning, that is Bhakti Yoga. Then little bit of inspirational reading and reflection over it, Gyan Yoga. And whole day, whatever work you are doing, trying to work as worship. Vidyarthi Narayana, try to worship that no, I am not teaching. I am trying to worship Vidyarthi Narayana. If you try to practice, if you try to bring in this idea of work as worship, then gradually this SQ will be developed. And when the SQ is developed, you will get much more happiness and peace. Ultimately, when you get 100% SQ, that is the time when you get 100% happiness. That is the time when you get eternal happiness. That is the time when you get infinite happiness, infinite bliss, infinite knowledge. That is the ultimate aim with which we are going. So as a teacher, and teacher's job is the best job for development of SQ. Why? Because you have got a routine life. A routine life is much better suited for development of SQ. Okay? Have I answered your question?